Good afternoon and Jai Hind student. Today I'm taking history class 9th and I'm dealing with the chapter 2 and that is socialism in Europe and Russian Revolution. My topic for today is socialism in Russia and the revolution of 1905. So first I'm dealing with the socialism in Russia. As already we have studied that the socialism was existing in the rural areas of Russia in the form of commune or mir. So now we have to understand why Tsar was against of socialism. So Tsar was an autocratic ruler and he had announced that forming of any political party will be against of his government and counted as illegal. But apart from his order and his belief, people had made the political parties, and the first political party of Russia based on the Karl Marx ideology was the Russian Social Democratic Workers' Party, which was founded in 1898. Then how this party was working, this is a point of question because Tsar, who was the autocratic ruler of Russia, has announced political party as illegal one. So people were working, those who were the members of this party, they were working illegally. They had set up the newspapers, they organized the strikes without informing to the any administrative authority. And slowly coming up to 1900, means after 2 years, Russian peasants who were always calling themselves as the socialist, they had formed the Socialist Revolutionary Party in 1900, which tells us that slowly people were against of the Tsar's policies and his nobility. These peasants struggle a lot to demand for the lands of the noble to be transferred to them. And from here you'll be studying the entry of Vladimir Lenin in the politics of Russia. Maybe Lenin was totally loyal towards Tsar, but somehow he was against of Tsar due to his policies for the peasants and workers. Lenin felt that not all peasants are poor. Few peasants groups are very rich and that much rich that they become capitalist and started employing workers or tenants to work in their farms. So Lenin may be favoring the peasants group, but he was not favoring the peasants who are well capable, wealthy millionaires. He was favoring the peasants who were more in Russia in the form of Bolshevik. In the form of Bolshevik, it's a Russian word which means majority group. So maybe 85% of the population of Russia was rural and the peasant groups were more powerful. But within this peasant group, rich peasants were less and more were the poor peasants who were called as Bolsheviks in the words of Vladimir Lenin. So Vladimir Lenin, his party, the Socialist Revolutionary Party, which was formed in 1900, had divided over the strategies of his organizations. So for the poor peasants who were more in numbers and working laborers, dissatisfied one of the Russian society, they were called as Bolsheviks, which means majority groups. And based on the strategy of the organization, he had made one more group which were known as Mensheviks, means minority, which tells us that the rich peasant groups were also dissatisfied with the Tsar and nobility, but they were called as in Vladimir Lenin's party as Mensheviks, which means minority. Now, as we understood, it was a time of 900. And now I'm going to deal with my next topic, which is very important in the Russian history, and that was 1905 revolution. So 1903 was the time when Vladimir Lenin had given the concept of freedom, one's independence, and a forming of a parliamentary form of government under the Tsar, because he was totally loyal towards Tsar. Before 1905, Tsar was an autocratic ruler, means he was absolute monarch who was handling all the forms of government like legislature, executive, and judiciary too. And Tsar was not totally subjected to the liberalism, means parliamentary form of government, dividing the power and choosing the representative for the parliament by the people of the country. This concept, which was very frequent through the French Revolution in whole Europe, Tsar was totally against of it. Russia was untouched with the liberalism policy because Tsar was totally against of it. I am repeating it again and again. But what happened, students? Coming up to 1904 or 1905, you can add, the liberals present in the Russia, means the followers of liberalism, there might be followers, the followers of liberalism, and the Polish nationalists. Remember this, I told you, after the Battle of Waterloo, Poland was given to the Russia treaty through the Treaty of Vienna. So the Polish nationalists who were the Poland which was under the Russia, the Polish nationalists were against of the Russian custody. So these people, the liberals in Russia, the Polish nationalists, the people of Poland, Social Democrats of Russia, Socialist Revolutionary Party, means Vladimir Lenin's party, Muslim Jihadists, the Russian, southern Russian areas which touched with the Turkey, so Azerbaijan, Lebanon kind of areas, where Muslim Jihadists demanded for the constitution to safe secure their Islam religion because they were under the Russia, and Russia's predominant religion was Orthodox Christianity. So to safe secure their religion, everyone in the Russia coming up to 1905 having the intentions to demand for the constitution with to the Tsar. And finally things began up and reached up to the worst extent in Russia in 1904, when the 4 members of the Assembly of Russian Workers were dismissed without any reason, and they belong to the hierarchy of social group of workers, means they were the metal workers, they were working at the pitlo iron industry, and they were dismissed without any reason. So they sat on strike, demanding for the real wages, demanding for the reduced working hours, demanding for the better working condition. And when these 4 were dismissed, next day it converted into a huge crowd of 110,000 workers of St. Petersburg, by including not only metal industry workers, even by including the textile industry and all the rest industry workers and laborers. They have founded unions and associations. They all were called to sat on strike. The strike processions was led by the Father Gibbon, and strikers in 1905 reached to the Winter Palace. When they reached to the Winter Palace, Tsar had ordered his army, police, here the word is Cossacks, his own army which was there for his security in Winter Palace. They attacked on these strikers. When they attacked on these strikers, it was Sunday on that day. 100 workers were killed and 300 wounded in this incident. And due to this, in Russian history, this incident of 1905 known as Bloody Sunday. But this Bloody Sunday incident had somehow provoked the Russian people to demand for the civil liberties from the Tsar. So the strike now conducted throughout the country. All the universities were closed down. Student walks out of the colleges and classrooms by complaining that they are not getting civil liberties by the government. Doctor, lawyers, engineers, and the other middle classes also demanded for the Constituent Assembly, or a constitution should be made up for the people of the Russia. Now, we studied what happened as in the form of causes and spread of revolution. Now we are going to study what was the result. You might be thinking that Tsar was totally powerful and maybe the country people were creating opposition by conducting strike, and Tsar will not let down. But this time Tsar was let down in front of his people, and he allowed for the creation of a consultative parliament called Duma, D-U-M-A, Duma. Like we call in India our parliament as Lok Sabha. Like in France, it was National Assembly or Convention. Same in Russia, the consultative parliament called as Duma. Remember this, it was a consultative parliament. We cannot compare it with India's Lok Sabha or National Assembly of France, because maybe Tsar let down because of a mass agitation, but he was still arrogant towards his policies. So he had allowed it. ठीक है, if you wish to make a parliament, you all are creating this kind of chaos in the country. Okay, form one consultative parliament. I'll consult whatever decision I am going to take. I am going to consult with that parliament, and it was totally a wish of Tsar whether he is going to consult with that parliament or not. But the things were changed now. At least he permitted for the consultative parliament. After 1905. So many unions were made up between 1905 when the revolution was going on. So many associations and unions were made up. What Tsar had did as the result, he maybe allowed it consultative parliament called Duma, but he had totally announced illegal all the political party which were working and all the committees and unions which were working after 1905 were announced as illegal, and political activities were totally restricted. Very smartly, Tsar had, after 75 days, he had dismissed the Duma. Remember this, 75 days. He had dismissed the first Duma, and after 3 months, he had re-elected the second Duma, which he had again dismissed. And the third Duma, when he was there to choose up, he claimed that people are now arrogant. They become that much arrogant that they are undermining my authority. They are undermining my officers. So this kind of freedom I cannot give to my people. So I'm allowing to form the third Duma. But for that third Duma, voting laws will be changed now. Now the leaders cannot stand by their own wish. The leaders will be standing which Tsar will choose for the parliament. And in this way he had changed the voting laws for electing the third Duma, and through the tactful diplomacy he had chosen up his own conservative politicians, those who were the followers of him. And he has totally kept out liberal revolutionaries from Duma, so that he can take his own decision by the common understanding with his conservative politicians. This much is for today's period. Thank you and Jai Hind, and thanks to be a good listeners. Goodbye. Jai Hind.